In the vibrant heart of Brooklyn, Central Park stood as an ever-changing tapestry of life. Amongst its trails and trees, a young boy named Danny Mitchell often found solace on a worn bench beneath towering oak trees. His dark hair ruffled in the breeze as he turned his face towards the soft whispers of nature, keenly attuned to the symphony of chirping birds and distant laughter. Beside him, at the end of a sturdy leash, stood Blitz, his ever-loyal German Shepherd guide dog. Blitz was more than just a companion. He was Danny's protector and his lifeline ever since an accident had stolen his sight 3 years ago. Danny, a spirited 12-year-old, had adapted to life in darkness with a fierce determination, never allowing his disability to define him. Yet today, something troubled Blitz, who stood alert and watchful, ears perked, eyes scanning the park as if sensing an invisible threat. Every fiber of his dog's being screamed at Danny to stay vigilant. Across the park, a motorcycle roared to life, and a figure emerged, Hank Johnson. With his hulking frame, shaved head, and a collection of tattoos that told tales of rebellion, Hank exuded an intimidating aura that demanded attention. He noticed Danny and Blitz sitting quietly and couldn't help but scoff, something about the peace and tranquility of the boy and his dog rubbing him the wrong way. "Look at that little blind boy and his fancy dog," Hank sneered to his leather-clad friends, as they encircled him like a pack of wolves. "Is that what they call companions these days?" he laughed, flicking his cigarette to the ground while striding toward Danny with boisterous confidence. Blitz, sharp and instinctive, reacted immediately. His body stiffened as he caught the scent of Hank's approach, a low growl emanating from deep within his chest. Danny sensed the shift in the atmosphere, tension radiating like a brewing storm. Every nerve in Blitz's body screamed at Danny to stay still, to let Blitz handle the situation. "Stay, Blitz," Danny whispered firmly, but his heart racing as Hank took another step closer, the shadow of menace looming larger. "What's the matter, dog? Is he trained to do tricks?" Hank taunted, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Maybe he can roll over for us." Danny tightened his grip on Blitz's leash, his heartbeat quickening as the air thickened with impending danger. "Leave us alone," he called out, feigning bravery, but the crack in his voice betrayed his fear. Hank's laughter echoed through the park. "Doesn't look like he's got the bark to back it up." The crowd that had stopped to watch remained frozen, unsure whether to intervene. Danny's heart pounded in his chest as Hank's boots seemed to grow larger, his shadow casting an ominous presence over the ground. Suddenly, with a swift motion, Hank sought to assert dominance. He raised his foot, aiming to kick Blitz, but what he didn't anticipate was Blitz's training. In that split second, the calmness shattered. Blitz became a blur of motion, sidestepping effortlessly, his keen instincts kicking in. "Blitz, no!" Danny exclaimed, but Blitz was already on full alert. With a commanding bark that resonated like thunder, he planted himself squarely in front of Danny, teeth bared, furious protectiveness emanating from his stance. The air tensed, and shock halted Hank in his tracks as if time itself had stood still. "Hey, I was just joking," Hank stammered, the bravado slipping from his voice like autumn leaves falling from the trees. The crowd gasped, unsure of what to do, as Danny stood frozen, clutching his leash. But then, something inside him clicked. A fire lit within, fueled by Blitz's unwavering loyalty. He stood up straighter, his grip on Blitz's leash firming as he spoke. "No one messes with me and Blitz," he declared, a newfound conviction echoing through his voice. Officer Fernandez appeared, pushing through the crowd with authority. "What's going on here?" he demanded, eyes darting to the scene before him. The tension dissipated, and Hank's bravado crumbled as the officer's gaze landed on him. "Just having a bit of fun," Hank stammered, but his eyes betrayed his true intentions. "Threatening a guide dog isn't fun," Officer Fernandez countered, crossing his arms. "This dog is doing his job protecting this boy, and it looks like he's far better at his job than you are at being a decent human." The crowd murmured, sympathizing with Danny and Blitz, while Hank's confidence crumbled further. A young girl, no more than 10 years old, stepped forward. "My mom is a nurse and helps take care of Danny sometimes. She says his dog is one of the kindest animals she's ever met." Sarah, the girl, looked at Blitz with admiration in her eyes. "He's so brave," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Blitz wagged his tail slightly, his ears perked up in acknowledgement, basking in the warmth of the young girl's admiration. The officer's face softened as he gazed at Blitz, and for a moment, the air was filled with a sense of understanding. "I'm sorry, kid," he said to Danny, his tone a mix of empathy and authority. "But you can't let people push you around. You stand up for yourself, and Blitz is your partner in that." The officer's words struck a chord within Danny. He took a deep breath, and as he did, Blitz leaned closer, his nose nudging Danny's hand reassuringly. As the crowd began to disperse, Danny felt a sense of relief wash over him. He knew he and Blitz were more than just a boy and a dog. They were an unbreakable team, forged in the fire of adversity. And with that realization, Danny felt a newfound sense of strength. The day passed, but Danny's thoughts lingered on the encounter with Hank. He couldn't shake the feeling that Blitz was more than just a guide dog, that he was a warrior, a hero, a guardian. He wondered what Blitz's past held, what kind of battles he had fought, and how he had ended up in his life. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the park in a warm orange glow, Danny reached out and stroked Blitz's fur. "Who are you, really, Blitz?" he whispered, his voice barely audible. Blitz looked up at Danny, his eyes shining with a knowing glint, as if he understood the unspoken question. He leaned against Danny, his massive paws resting gently on the ground, and in that moment, Danny felt a connection so deep, so profound, that he knew he would never let Blitz go. Over the next few days, Danny and Blitz became local heroes, with stories of their bravery and loyalty spreading through the park and beyond. People would stop and pet Blitz, and Danny would tell them about the day Hank had threatened him. As he spoke, Blitz would sit by his side, his tail wagging slowly, as if sharing in the pride of being a hero. But as the days passed, Danny's thoughts turned to Blitz's past. What was his life like before he was a guide dog? Did he have family? Friends? Did he have a name other than what Danny had given him? The questions swirled in his mind like a hurricane, and he knew he had to find answers. One evening, as he sat on his bed, Danny opened up his laptop and began searching for information on guide dogs and military K9s. He scrolled through websites, reading stories of dogs who had served in the military, of dogs who had saved lives, of dogs who had given their all for their country. And then, one article caught his eye. It was about a retired military K9 named Ace, who had served in a dynamic unit with his handler, Sergeant Jake Carter. Ace had been trained in explosives detection, search and rescue, and counterterrorism, and had seen combat in the Middle East. As Danny read on, he felt a shiver run down his spine. Could it be possible that Blitz was once known as Ace? That he had fought alongside soldiers in the heat of battle? The thought sent his mind reeling with questions and doubts. He closed his laptop and sat in silence, trying to process the information. Could it be true? Was Blitz really a hero, a warrior who had fought for his country? He looked over at Blitz, who was fast asleep on his bed, his chest rising and falling with each peaceful breath. And in that moment, Danny knew he had to find out more. He had to learn about Blitz's past, to uncover the secrets that lay hidden beneath his quiet exterior. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to learn the truth about his loyal companion, the hero who had saved him from Hank's wrath. The next day, Danny decided to visit the local veterans organization, where he had heard that Blitz might have been trained. He walked through the doors, his heart racing with anticipation, and was greeted by a kind-faced woman named Sarah. "Hi, I'm here to ask about my dog, Blitz," Danny said, his voice filled with determination. "I think he might have been a military K9 in the past." Sarah's eyes widened in surprise, and she smiled warmly. "Let me see what I can find out for you, kiddo." She disappeared behind a door, leaving Danny to wait anxiously in the lobby. A few minutes later, Sarah returned, a look of excitement on her face. "I think I found something," she said, her voice trembling. Blitz's military ID matches a retired K9 named Ace, who served in a unit with Sergeant Jake Carter. Danny's eyes widened in shock, and he felt a lump form in his throat. Was it really true? Were Blitz and Ace one and the same? He looked over at Blitz, who was sleeping peacefully on the couch, his heart filled with a mix of emotions. Sarah handed Danny a folder filled with documents and photographs, and he sat down to read through them. As he did, he realized that Blitz's past was even more incredible than he had imagined. Ace had been a true hero, a dog who had risked his life to save his handler and his team. Tears streamed down Danny's face as he read through the stories, his heart filled with pride and admiration for Blitz. He looked over at his dog, who was still sleeping peacefully, but now he saw him in a whole new light. Blitz was more than just a guide dog. He was a hero, a warrior, a guardian. And Danny knew that he would do everything in his power to make sure that Blitz's past was remembered, that his bravery and loyalty were celebrated for generations to come. As he left the Veterans Organization, Danny felt a sense of purpose. He knew that he had a mission to complete, to make sure that Blitz's story was told, to share his bravery and loyalty with the world. The sun was setting over the park as Danny walked home, Blitz by his side. He looked down at his dog, and his heart swelled with love and admiration. "Thanks, Blitz," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "You're the best dog in the world." Blitz looked up at him, his eyes shining with a knowing glint, and Danny knew that he had found his true companion, his hero, his friend. Over the next few weeks, Danny and Blitz became local celebrities, with stories of their bravery and loyalty spreading through the park and beyond. People would stop and pet Blitz, and Danny would tell them about the day Hank had threatened him, about Blitz's past as a military K-9, and about the stories he had uncovered. As they walked through the park, Danny felt a sense of pride and admiration for Blitz. He knew that he had found his true companion, his hero, his friend, and he was determined to make sure that Blitz's past was remembered for generations to come. The sun was setting over the park one evening, casting a warm orange glow over the trees and the grass. Danny stood on the bench, looking out over the park, and felt a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that he had found his true purpose in life, to share Blitz's story with the world, to celebrate his bravery and loyalty, and to make sure that his past was remembered. And as he looked down at Blitz, who was sitting by his side, he knew that he would do everything in his power to make that happen. The stars were beginning to twinkle in the sky as Danny and Blitz made their way home, their hearts filled with love and admiration for each other. They knew that they would face challenges in the future, but they were ready, as long as they had each other. As they walked through the door, Danny turned to Blitz and smiled. "You're the best dog in the world, Blitz," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "I'm so lucky to have you as my companion." Blitz wagged his tail, his eyes shining with a knowing glint, and Danny knew that he had found his true friend, his hero, his companion. And as they settled down for the night, Danny knew that he would always cherish the memories of their adventures, of their bravery, and of their loyalty to each other. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months. Danny and Blitz became inseparable, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. They went on long walks, played fetch, and explored the park, always laughing and joking together. But as much as they enjoyed their time together, Danny knew that he couldn't forget Blitz's past. He felt a sense of responsibility to share his story with the world, to celebrate his bravery and loyalty, and to make sure that his past was remembered. One day, Danny had an idea. He would write a book about Blitz's life, about his time as a military K-9, and about the challenges he faced. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to tell Blitz's story, to share his bravery and loyalty with the world. As he sat at his desk, typing away on his computer, Danny felt a sense of excitement and purpose. He was doing something that would make a difference, something that would honor Blitz's past and celebrate his bravery. The days passed, and the book began to take shape. Danny wrote about Blitz's training, about his time in the military, and about the challenges he faced. He wrote about Blitz's heroism, about his bravery, and about his loyalty. As he finished the final draft, Danny felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. He had done it. He had shared Blitz's story with the world. And as he looked over the manuscript, he knew that he had created something special, something that would touch hearts and inspire people. The book was titled Blitz, the Hero Dog, and it told the story of a dog who had risked his life to save his handler and his team. It was a story of bravery, loyalty, and sacrifice, and it was one that would touch hearts and inspire people. As the book was published, Danny and Blitz became local celebrities, with people coming from all over to meet them and hear their story. They went on television, radio, and podcasts, sharing Blitz's story with the world. And as they did, Danny knew that he had achieved his goal. He had shared Blitz's story, celebrated his bravery and loyalty, and made sure that his past was remembered. And as he looked down at Blitz, who was sitting by his side, he knew that he had found his true purpose in life. The years passed, and Blitz's book became a bestseller, inspiring millions of people around the world. Danny and Blitz went on tour, sharing Blitz's story with the world, and they became one of the most beloved and recognizable teams in the country. And as they sat on the bench in the park, watching the sunset, Danny knew that he had found his true companion, his hero, his friend. He knew that he had achieved his goal, and that he had made a difference in the world. As they walked home, arm in arm, Danny turned to Blitz and smiled. "You're the best dog in the world, Blitz," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "I'm so lucky to have you as my companion." Blitz wagged his tail, his eyes shining with a knowing glint, and Danny knew that he had found his true friend, his hero, his companion. And as they settled down for the night, Danny knew that he would always cherish the memories of their adventures, of their bravery, and of their loyalty to each other. The years went by, and Blitz's legacy grew. He became a symbol of bravery and loyalty, inspiring people around the world. And as Danny looked back on their journey, he knew that he had found his true purpose in life, to share Blitz's story, to celebrate his bravery and loyalty, and to make sure that his past was remembered. And as he sat on the bench in the park, watching the sunset, Danny knew that he would always cherish the memories of their adventures, of their bravery, and of their loyalty to each other. He knew that he had found his true companion, his hero, his friend. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm orange glow over the park, Danny stood up, and he and Blitz walked away from the bench, arm in arm, ready to face the next chapter of their journey together. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and they faced every challenge as a team. They went on to inspire countless people with Blitz's story, and they became one of the most beloved and recognizable teams in the country. And as they looked back on their journey, they knew that they had found their true purpose in life, to share their story, to celebrate their bravery and loyalty, and to make sure that their past was remembered. Years went by and the park became a hub for people visiting from around the world to meet Danny and Blitz and hear their incredible story. The two friends were inseparable, and Danny knew that no matter where life took them, Blitz would always be by his side. Blitz grew older, but his spark remained the same. He would still sit proudly by Danny's side, his tail wagging gently as he listened to his owner's stories. People would stop and pet him, and Danny would smile, remembering the day they first met. And as Danny looked at Blitz, he knew that their bond had been formed in the heart of that park, in a moment of courage and bravery that would stay with them for the rest of their lives. As the years went by, Danny grew up, but his love for Blitz never faded. They continued to explore the park, to play, and to enjoy each other's company. They became a symbol of the special bond between humans and animals, and their story inspired countless people to cherish and protect the relationships they formed with their pets. One day, as they walked through the park, hand in hand, Danny turned to Blitz and said, "You know, buddy, I never thought I'd be so lucky to have a friend like you. You've been more than just a guide dog to me. You've been a true companion, a confidant, and a hero." Blitz looked up at Danny, his eyes shining with a knowing glint, and Danny knew that he had found his true friend, his hero, his companion. And as they sat down on a bench, watching the sunset, Danny knew that their bond would last a lifetime. Years went by and the park continued to flourish. People would visit from all over to see Danny and Blitz, and to hear their incredible story. And as they looked back on their journey, they knew that their bond had been formed in the heart of that park, in a moment of courage and bravery that would stay with them for the rest of their lives. As the sun set on another day in the park, Danny turned to Blitz and smiled. "You know, buddy, I never thought I'd be so lucky to have a friend like you. You've been more than just a guide dog to me. You've been a true companion, a confidant, and a hero." Blitz looked up at Danny, his eyes shining with a knowing glint, and Danny knew that he had found his true friend, his hero, his companion. And as they sat down on a bench, watching the sunset, Danny knew that their bond would last a lifetime. The stars began to twinkle in the sky as Danny and Blitz sat in comfortable silence, enjoying each other's company. And as they watched the world go by, Danny knew that he had found his true purpose in life, to love and cherish Blitz, his loyal companion, his hero, his friend. And as they sat there, surrounded by the beauty of nature, Danny and Blitz knew that their bond would last forever, a testament to the power of love, loyalty, and the unbreakable connection between a human and their animal companion.